disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So as the stew of campuses collectively protesting the horrific atrocities of the genocide going on in Gaza, showing support for Palestine, and calling out the war machine for manufacturing and assisting in the horrific slaughter of innocent lives, we have seen so much coverage through social media of people that are on opposing sides of this, duking it out. We have seen, people that are trying to create this almost like little stunts of trying to counteract the growing number of protesters that are calling out the horrific genocide that's enduring through our tax dollars. And this came across in one of the feeds here. So this is, someone pointed this out. This is from David Atherton, and he says that this is a Jewish Columbia University professor, Shai Davidai, angry speech at students and lecturers supporting Hamas. The NYPD have been banned from entering and calls for Governor Kathy Hochul to send in the National Guard. His campus pass has been revoked because they can't guarantee his safety. So this is one of the big players in the so-called resistance against the unruly mob of Columbia University students. And you tell me how effective this is going to go against the grain and go against what students are looking towards, and they're protesting, not in support of terrorism, which is what, Netanyahu and the United States, they've always supported terrorism because they're the ones arbitrarily creating the terrorism. These are college students that are just sick and tired of being scammed into another manufactured war that's going to cause the suffering of lives on all bounds. And a lot of this coming from what was originally started as the ceasefire movement. That was when people were calling for a general ceasefire of both sides, allowing for the violence to stop, the war to end, and to find some sort of diplomatic situation. That is no longer the case because of how much this is fueled just for the time it's been. So watch what this guy has to say.
Last night, what you saw at Columbia University is open support for Hamas, holding signs saying El Qassam Brigade, your next target, pointing at Jewish students.
By the way, how could this guy be a Columbia University professor and still look like a reject from the Backstreet Boys? I'm very skeptical on this guy actually having teaching credits at one of the top schools in America. Because I've seen college professors and I don't see any of them looking like someone who just lost their job at the Apple store. Just something doesn't make sense about this. Something doesn't make sense about this.
So here you have it. While U.S. citizens are being held hostage in Gaza by Hamas and by the Islamic Jihad, you have students at Columbia University and faculty at Columbia University who are cheering on Hamas. They are denying. And the administration, Columbia's administration, not only won't do anything about it, they are refusing to let the NYPD in. They are letting the terrorists in and keeping the NYPD out. So my message is not to the cowards at Columbia's administration. My message is to the mayor. We don't need your empty remarks about not being okay. Right now, we are not okay. Do something. And if you can't do Mayor Eric Adams, if you can't do something, one, we'll make sure you vote you out or impeach you. And we'll call on the governor, Kathy Hochul. You have the National Guard. You have terrorists in a university at New York. That's your state. Bring in the National Guard. Make sure we are going to rid this country of terrorists and terrorist supporters. We believe in love. We believe in free speech. But we believe that enough is enough.
Oh. Oh my God. We believe in love. We believe in free speech. Where the hell's the National Guard? Arrest them. Arrest them now. Oh, but sir, if we take the National Guard away from the subways, then how do we protect the subways? Oh my God. Shakespeare was right. The world is really a stage, and these are merely players. We live in an entire circus. I don't know if you also notice, too, that there's supporters surrounding him. Genocide supporters surrounding him with both Israeli flags and pride flags. So the mass slaughter of Palestinians, the mass slaughter of people in Gaza is somehow allocated to supporting gay, lesbian, trans, bisexual, and queer people among the other members of the alphabet soup. Mass slaughtering an entire civilization is helping the LGBTQ. How does that make sense? And considering the fact that Israel doesn't even recognize civil marriages, let alone, you know, same-sex marriages, they don't allow civil marriages. Oh my God. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. And the fact that he was like stomping, like, this is a professor. I'm very, very skeptical on the whole teaching aspect, the teaching institution at this school. If that is your top professor who's shouting and having like a hissy fit, demanding the National Guard's crack down on students holding poster paper, I'm very, very, very skeptical on the educational aspect of this institution. I'm almost glad that they're cutting classes at these schools. I feel like kids are going to get a better education if they get away from this crap. Honest to God. They're going to be more educated when they realize the real world and not this phony baloney crap that they're getting in these horrific Ivy League stupid-ass centers, these clown shows. Oh my God. So, then he strikes again, ladies and gentlemen. He strikes again, and this time, he's really facing the crowd. After his little hissy fit there, he really faced the crowd, because now he's doing what all good Zionists do, policing the Jewish community. And this is the biggest thing I've seen when it comes to the response in regards to Israel, Hamas, the genocide, the Gaza war, like all this, is the segregation within the Jewish community. If you really love and support each other, if you really care about the institution of which your religion comes from, why is it that the Zionists are deteriorating their own people and screaming at them, saying, if you're not 100% on board with this evil cult that was a manufactured aggression against Judaism, it is not the same as Judaism, it is conflated the two in order to capture the true meanings of of that religion, why would you be demonizing Jewish people? If you really want more people to be on your side, why is it that Zionists will then go after Jewish people and saying you're a self-hating Jew and all that stuff if you're not 100% on board with the genocide? If you really want the support, if you really want the, recognition, because you're hurting your own cause by doing this. And here's where he completely loses it. On one of the college students. He's losing it on a Jewish citizen.
I introduce myself as Shai Davidai. Look at me because I'm talking with you. I introduce myself as Shai Davidai. You introduce yourself as a Jew. You introduce yourself as a spokesperson for Jewish people. Because listen to me. Because you said me and many other Jews. So you have to look at the statistic. 95% of Jewish people are Zionists. So if you don't want to be part of
that's
the
a
Jewish
false
tribe,
fabricated
you have
number.
the right to do so. But you are not the spokesperson of the Jewish people. All of them here are the spokespersons. You should be ashamed of yourself for insinuating otherwise. If you want to stand against terrorism, you're welcome to stand. If not, you're welcome to stand there. And for you, I introduce my...
Again, is it really helping your case when you deliberately single out a person and say that they are not that they're not on the good side? Is it really helping your cause when you scream and yell at them, hey, let me talk, screaming at them that they're not Jewish enough because 95% of Jewish people are apparently all Zionists? That again is a fabricated number. I would say it's at least within the 60 range. That's the max number I would give it. 60%. I will allow to say that Jewish people are Zionists. But not all Zionists are actually Jewish. Joe Biden is a Catholic. Joe Biden is a Zionist. You can also have a Christian Zionist. So the idea that somehow you're conflating, in order for you to be a proper Jew, you have to be enacted in this horrific cult of Zionism, is actually destroying your defense and your argument for Israel to commit this genocide. It is just the fact that they're segregating their own people is just absolutely chaotic. And it does not help the case, which is why a lot of people are questioning, a lot of people are skeptical of this, and they're realizing that this is all fabricated to further divide people, to further anger the cause, so that the warlords will continue on the desecration of innocent lives, regardless of who they are. It's all a game. It's all a charade. This is all a setup. And this guy, this college professor slash boy band member, apparently, that's how he looks. Jesus. It's all just a ploy to make people believe that there's some sort of relevance into the manufactured defense that the genocide is a defense. That if we wipe out an entire population, that's defending people like me. It's defending the part of America. And having college kids stand out with poster paper saying we need to end the warfare is an absolute disgrace. You're not helping your cause. So here he is once again. And to note that they did not allow him to get into the campus, because in order for people to get onto the college campus in Columbia, they have a key card, and they supposedly deactivated this key card. Now, my suspicion is that, again, this is all purposely done. That this wasn't just a formative accident of, oh, we deactivate your key card because they're supportive of the students. I don't believe that is the case. I think that they purposely did that to virtue signal the idea that they're on the side of the students protesting for Palestine, but really it's to add more fuel to this fire because they want the students gone as well. The president of Colombia has trying to put deadlines and try to gridlock the situation, try to, bring in Mike Johnson to scare the kids away off campus, and done everything they can possible. You really think they're going to be on the side of the students to protect this professor? Probably not.
Shame on you!
I have not just a civil right as a Jewish person to be on campus. I have a right as a professor employed by the university to be on campus. They deactivated my card. These are 5 lawsuits happening, but we don't want to do it. We just want to be Jewish and corporate.
I feel like I'm watching endless clips of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, this has got to be a comedic bit. I have 5 lawsuits. I'm so Shemininga right now. Oh my God. You don't know how angry I am. I just schlep all my way over here. I can't get onto this campus. Like, he's really bringing all the stereotype out. He's really hammering out the stereotype. I didn't even get to get my bagels and lox. I miss Fiddler. God. I am so done with this convention. Jeez. Come on. Let me in. Let this boy band member into the campus and let me tell people how great it is that we eradicate other people. Yay! Jeez. Oh, man. Again, how is any of this going to help your case? How exactly is the actions that this man is taking, how is this more defensible than it is laughable? So then he takes on to social media, because once you make a scene of yourself and people, laugh at it like we did, the best thing you can do is cry about it on social media. So now he goes on by saying, Cass Holloway, who is the COO of the university, respond to my request for public safety is nothing more than a continuation of 6 months of gaslighting and degrading the Jewish community of Colombia. The terrorists can do whatever they want, but the Jews need to be closed off in a different area. F you, Cass. Read some fucking history. It's too laughable. It's almost too laughable to see this. Because if people really if we want to read through history and understand where Hamas came from, look no further than your government in Israel. Look at Benjamin Netanyahu telling his own cabinet members, hey, in order for us to stop Palestinians from liberating themselves and forming their own kind of civilization in their own lands, we need to fund a terrorist group. It's kind of similar to how, in order for us to stop the Soviets from entering Afghanistan, we need to install the Mujahideen. And next thing you know, you're fighting your own creation. Next thing you know, we're planning 3 more wars. Next thing you know, we manufactured another horrific stunt in order to perpetuate us into another horrific war. It's the exact same playbook they've always tricked us with before. That is why people like me are skeptical of this, because I have seen the lies of the war. I have seen lies that they create us getting into this catastrophic damages, and we won't be fooled again. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with anti-Semite or Semitic. It has nothing to do with any of that. This is a manufactured ploy to get us into another horrific war. And in order for us to be manipulated and brainwashed, They need to create this circus. They need to create this complexity of yelling and screaming and telling people that they're anti-Semitic and yelling at Jewish people that they're not Jewish enough for supporting this war. So here's Jewish Voice for Peace intervening on this because they saw how Shai Davidi yelled at that Jewish protester. He was yelling at him, saying that you're not part of us, and shaming him for being on the side of détente, for being on the side of being against this war. So Jewish Voice for Peace says, furthermore, the disgraceful Shai Davidi publicly called us Judenrat, capos, and told us we would be on the last train to Auschwitz. We do not feel safe with this professor still teaching us on campus, having access to the Jewish community spaces we cherish, much less portraying himself as the valiant protector and spokesperson of Jews on campus while insulting our ancestors' memory. Also, every suspended Jewish student lost family members in the Holocaust. So if it isn't the pot, calling the kettle black. And here's also another piece of the puzzle that really puts this into perspective, is that same guy is tied to weapons manufacturing. So, gee, I wonder why he's so kerfuffled on getting us into another illegal war. I wonder why this has become such a highlight in his life. So it says, after throwing a foot-stomping tantrum earlier this morning, Shai Davidi had unentered Columbia University business professor, was denied access to parts of campus. A self-proclaimed Zionist, Davidi is an Israeli-American who served in the IDF and has continually harassed Columbia pro-Palestine activists, blaming them anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas terrorists. On several occasions, Davidi called for the National Guard to be brought in to brutalize pro-Palestinian students. He's even gone so far as to characterize Colombian protesters as Hitler Youth. Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine have started a petition to have him fired. There is a laundry list of complaints logged against Davidi, most recently by 15 Jewish students at Columbia who were arrested and suspended last week during their occupation protests, demanding the school divest from Israel. In a Jewish Voice for Peace Instagram post, the students called out Davidi directly, writing, and we already showed that in the last thing, Davidi comes from a long line of assholes. I'm already liking this article. His father, Eli Davidi, is an Israeli business executive who serves as general manager of ARC, which describes itself as a leading global advanced manufacturing service provider. According to ARC's 2018 SEC filing, Eli Davidi, general manager of operations as of May 2017, has been a managing director at QMI, Quadrant Management Incorporated, since 1992, where he is responsible for making investments and overseeing companies at the firm. Additionally, Mr. Davidi was elected to the company's board of directors on June 5th, 2018. Among other things, ARC manufactures weapon parts, including polymer magazine for NATO-compatible weapons, triggers and hammers, precision-guided munitions components, and more. In 2016, ARC won an award for an AR-15 component, and in 2010, scored a prize for an explosive device made for the Department of Defense application. Yes, you gotta love the innovation that comes out of this country. You gotta love the innovation that comes out of here. Mass murder all around. ARC also makes parts for MCX and MPX rifles, which are used by the Israeli military. As you probably guessed by his crybaby antics, Shai's parents are disgustingly rich. Eli and his wife Zahara Davidai sponsored the Davidai Arithma Center in Tel Hassamer, Israel, where Benjamin Netanyahu was fitted for a pacemaker last year. Interestingly, as Cloent Lover exposed on X, Eli Davidai and had a long business relationship with Alan Kosha, CEO of Quadrant Management, who also serves on the board of directors of ARC. Quasha is an interesting character, an international businessman, and a billionaire venture capitalist. Quasha has been involved in everything from Harken Energy, where George W. Bush was accused of insider trading as he sat on the Harken's board, to dealings with the Saudis, U.S. intelligence, and even the Clintons. So who's really on the side of terrorists? Kasha is also the founder of Quadrant Security Strategies, which makes equity investments in innovative and emerging private companies that support U.S. national security. To top it off, Shah Davidai's grandfather, Benny Davidai, a founder of LAI Airlines, was a notorious strikebreaker. The apple doesn't fall far, as they say. Meanwhile, as Davidai claims it's unsafe for him on campus, Columbia faculty, including Jewish faculty members, walked out this afternoon in a massive show of solidarity with student protesters. So, I love the irony that comes out of this. I love the fact that this just exposes the whole derangement that comes out of this. It really is a clown show. It really is a damn clown show. And they pose this guy to be the centerfold of it, to make him feel like the victim, when really he is the one that's victimizing other people. And here to leave off to this is an actual student at Columbia University. This is a Jewish student at Columbia University who was in solidarity with the pro-Palestine protests. And here's what he had to say about this.
I'm a Jewish student at Columbia. When we talk about anti-Semitism on campus, that's taking the spotlight away from Gaza, away from Palestine, and the Palestinian students on campus, and putting it back onto me. I am perfectly safe here, and this has all been a distraction because they don't want us talking about the non-stop massacre of Gaza, of Palestinian civilians being taken out by the IDF. I grew up being taught that Israel was an important part of my Jewish identity, and part of being a Jew was supporting Israel. I was raised Zionist, and then I met a Palestinian for the first time and heard their perspective, and was able to realize that I was on the wrong side of this, that I'd been taught the wrong side of this. To me, calling in the police was an act of desperation. They know where the students stand. They saw the students come together to support their suspended and arrested friends. We see that other universities are following in our footsteps, and we welcome them. We just want to make sure that they do it in solidarity with Gaza and with Palestine, and that the focus is not on us. But we hope that this can be an important step in the liberation of Palestine and an end to the occupation and an end to the genocide.
So there you go. When they call you an anti-Semite, they say that college campuses are now the evils of the world. When they have to call in the police, when a teacher has to say, "Bring in the National Guard," that is an act of desperation. A desperation because they're losing control of the narrative. They're losing control of the idea to manipulate and brainwash people to still think that because of your religion, that you give a higher pedestal clearing card. You get to play the victim card to advance your own warfare. That you have every diligible right to massacre whoever, whenever, to make you feel safe. And desecrate against other individuals is just, it shows how cowardly, how immoral, how ill-principled these people are. They have no real boundaries. And what that professor did was desperation. That was a deep call for desperation. The fact that he is attacking his own students shows how much, A, he's losing this battle, and B, he knows that the students are winning the argument. So he's that desperate and has to make a big giant scene and expect that the NYPD, the National Guard, and politicians are going to come to his rescue. Because he wants to advance the horrific genocide that's massacring people by the millions. Absolutely crazy.